Heyday, Helldiver. This time, I'll be explaining how to use the missile pistol to its full potential. While this weapon doesn't have the same power as the Ultimatum, it's a secondary weapon that can take down large enemies. It also has its own unique strengths, such as a lower risk of self-destruct and the ability to target distant enemies. I can almost hear people saying that the Ultimatum is the strongest, but that's not worth arguing. The Ultimatum is a complete weapon in itself. However, the true value of the missile pistol is felt when used in conjunction with support weapons. The missile pistol can cover the shortcomings of support weapons while dramatically improving your ability to deal with large enemies. In other words, this weapon is the best support weapon enhancement tool. So, hoping to free you from the curse of the Ultimatum, let's take a closer look at the missile pistol. First, let me explain some important points. This weapon has a guided mode where, once locked on and fired, the missile automatically flies to the target. However, to get the most out of the missile pistol, it's recommended to use it with the guided mode turned off. There are three main reasons for this, so let's look at the Behemoth as an example. This video shows the results of firing at the head, torso, and legs from left to right. If you hit the same part with missiles, you can destroy it into shots. However, in guided mode, the missiles don't always hit the same part. If you're unlucky, you might need 3 or more shots. Also, guided mode locks onto enemies other than large ones, which can make it harder to aim. Furthermore, it takes about 0.8 seconds for the lock-on to complete, which is a disadvantage as it delays firing. For these reasons, it's recommended to keep it set tuned on guided mode normally. Now, let's continue looking at the Behemoth. If a missile hits the Behemoth, but it can be destroyed in one shot. However, if you hit its armor, it won't be destroyed in one shot. In this case, 2 shots are needed. Also, dodging its charge and then hitting it is quite difficult, so it's not a good option. There are a few situations where you can defeat a Behemoth with a single missile pistol shot. Considering that you can only fire for shots, including the ones loaded, it might not seem like a very practical weapon. As mentioned at the beginning, the true value of the missile pistol becomes clear when used in conjunction with support weapons. To illustrate this, let's look at the results of using the missile pistol and laser cannon together. Shooting the Behemoth's head with only the laser cannon takes 12.4 seconds to defeat. However, after firing the missile pistol, it only takes about 4.7 seconds to defeat it. In other words, the time is reduced by about 8 seconds. Similarly, if you aim for the charger's head, you can defeat it in about 1 point per second. Let's also look at the results when targeting the Behemoth's torso and legs. The times shown in read are the results when using only the laser cannon. Both methods allow you to defeat it in about 2.5 seconds, demonstrating a significant reduction in time. Furthermore, if you destroy the armor with a missile pistol, you can then deal with it using your primary weapon. For example, shooting the legs with a Liberator will take it down in about 20 shots, while targeting the head is easier. Destroying the leg armor expands your options for defeating. This is an example using a sweeper, and it was defeated in less than a second. From here, we'll introduce examples of using 7 support weapons and missile pistols together. When aiming for the Behemoth's head with an autocannon, it can be destroyed in 4 shots. Normally, 10 netters are needed, but please refer to previous videos for the results. If you shoot the legs, it can be destroyed in just 2 shots. This is when using an APHT, and it's an excellent result. Next, let's try using the anti-material rifle. When shooting the Behemoth's head, it can be destroyed in 5 shots. If you shoot the legs, it can be destroyed in just 2 shots at close range. However, it required 3 shots when shooting from a distance of about 20 meters. This difference is likely due to damage fall-off with distance. Next are the results when using the de-escalator. When aiming for the head, it was possible to destroy it in as little as 2 shots. However, there is some variation in the results, so it's best to expect to need between 2 and 5 shots. When using the de-escalator, aiming for the legs is not recommended. While it's sometimes possible to kill it into shots, the results are often more inconsistent than when aiming for the head. Hitting the head is also easier, so there's no need to force yourself to aim for the legs. In this example, it took 9 shots. When using the arc thrower, it's also better to aim for the head. By using it in conjunction with a missile pistol, we were able to kill it in 6 shots. The time taken was about 6.5 seconds. The arc thrower's electric shock flies towards the center of the enemy, so aiming for the legs from the front won't hit effectively. However, by adjusting your position relative to the behemoth and attacking from an angle, it is possible to hit the legs with the electric shock. Hitting the legs will kill it faster than aiming for the head, but it's easier to deal with it using your primary weapon than to do this. Next, let's try using the spear gun. It takes 3 shots when aiming for the head. It takes a little time, but it's easy to keep attacking with the gas effect. If you shoot the legs, you can kill it into shots, but you might want to switch to your primary weapon after 1 shot with the spear gun. If you shoot the legs with the Liberator, you can kill it in about 8 shots. Next is the railgun, but let's first check the results when shooting in safe mode. If you aim for the behemoth's head, it takes 3 shots, but if you shoot the legs, you can kill it into shots. Next, let's try shooting the head in unsafe mode. I charged it almost to the limit and fired, but unfortunately, I couldn't kill it in 1 shot. This means that you don't need to charge that much when aiming for the head. Aiming for a charge time of 1.5 seconds or more should allow you to kill it into shots. When shooting the legs, a 1.6 second charge wasn't enough to kill it in 1 shot, so aim for 1.8 seconds or more. Finally, the heavy machine gun. Shooting a behemoth's head will take about 30 shots to kill it. If you aim for its legs, it will take less than a second to kill it. About 10 hits should be enough to destroy it. Killing a behemoth with only a heavy machine gun is surprisingly difficult. As with other weapons, using it in conjunction with a missile pistol makes it much easier to take down large enemies. This will become even clearer when we look at the example of the Titan, which we will discuss next, so let's take a look! Let's start by trying to take down a Titan using only a missile pistol. If you hit the head, you can destroy it into shots. The best time to aim is when the Titan is spraying acid. The acid's hit detection area has been reduced, making it easier to avoid without using a warp pack. Next, let's try aiming for the Titan's abdomen. The result is that it takes 5 shots to destroy it. Destroying the chest or abdomen will stop it from spraying acid, but you should generally avoid aiming there. Next, let's consider shooting the torso. It takes 2 shots to destroy the armor. Since you need at least 5 shots to destroy a Titan, I don't think there will be an opportunity to take it down with just a missile pistol. You might consider aiming after dealing damage with strategic support or when allies are attacking the torso, but generally, I recommend aiming for the head. Looking at these results, you can see that it's better not to use guided mode. In this example, it ended up taking 7 shots. Next, let's look at the results of using all 8 support weapons in combination. First, let's see the difference using the laser cannon. If you attack a Titan's head with only the laser cannon, it takes about 12 seconds to kill it. The video on the right shows the result of hitting the head once with a missile pistol and then attacking with the laser cannon. In this case, it was possible to kill it in about 4.5 seconds, which is more than half the time saved. Next is an example using the autocannon PHET. Normally, you need to hit the head 10 times. However, by using it in conjunction with the missile pistol, you can kill it in just 3 shots. It takes less than 3 seconds to kill a Titan, making it a very effective strategy. Furthermore, good results can be obtained using the spear gun. Normally, you need to hit the head 6 times to kill it. However, by using it in conjunction with the missile pistol, it is possible to kill it in just 2 shots. Next is an example using the anti-material rifle. Normally, it takes 10 headshots to kill a Titan, requiring a reload. However, when used in conjunction with a missile pistol, reloading is unnecessary. It's possible to kill a Titan in 4 shots. Using a heavy machine gun, you can kill a Titan in about 30 shots. Aiming accurately at the head is a bit difficult, but it's possible to kill it in under 2 seconds. Next, let's try aiming at the Titan's head with a de-escalator. As you can see, it's possible to kill it into shots. However, it wasn't always possible to kill it into shots, so you should expect to need 3 or 4 shots. At this point, we don't know why there's a difference in results, but it's definitely easier to kill Titans than usual. We also tried with an arc thrower, but this didn't yield good results. It's difficult to hit the Titan's head with the electric shock, and in this example, it took more than 20 shots to finally kill it. Recommend using a different method. As an alternative, using a missile pistol and a Giga Grenade allows you to quickly take down a Titan. Using only a Giga Grenade requires 2, but by using it in conjunction with a missile pistol, you can reduce the Giga Grenade consumption to just 1. Finally, let's look at the railgun. First, in safe mode, shooting a Titan's head requires 3 shots to kill it. Next, let's try shooting in unsafe mode. Depending on the charge time, it's possible to kill it in 1 shot. 8-second charge wasn't enough to kill it in 1 shot, so aiming for 2.5 seconds is a good guideline. Let's briefly touch on the Spore Burst Bile Titan. It has more health than a regular Titan, so even with a missile pistol, it takes 3 shots to the head. Next, let's try using both the missile pistol and the laser cannon. I used the missile pistol shots to the head followed by the laser cannon, but it still took about 4 seconds to kill it. There are many Spore Burst Bile Titans, so killing them this way is difficult. I also tried a combination of missile pistol and Giga Grenade, but this alone wasn't enough to kill it. Unfortunately, the result was the same when using Thermite. I also tried using only Thermite, but even throwing it to the head didn't seem to kill it. Using Ultimatum makes it possible to kill it in 1 shot, but the success rate seemed lower compared to regular Titans. It's a good idea to have a way to finish them off, if you can't kill them completely. Next, let's look at the Impaler. First, let's discuss the parts you should avoid targeting. Targeting the torso or butt requires 3 shots, so you should avoid aiming there. If you can only target from the side, it's better to shoot the legs. The armor can be destroyed in 1 shot, and you can then quickly destroy it using your primary weapon. With the Liberator, it takes about 20 shots. When shooting from behind, aim for the belly area. You can destroy it in 1 shot from there. When shooting from the front, you can destroy it in 1 shot by targeting the weak point exposed when it extends its tentacles or by shooting its mouth. Next, let's look at the maximum range of the missile pistol. In guided mode, you can lock onto targets up to approximately 100 meters away. You cannot fire beyond this distance. If you want to target targets further away, fire in non-guided. This allows you to hit targets approximately 200 meters away. Shrieker nests and Spore spewers can be destroyed in 2 shots. Let's also look at an example of using the missile pistol in conjunction with support weapons. Destroying a Spore spewer with only a laser cannon takes 12.6 seconds. You need to wait a little for the heatsink to cool down before it overheats, so the actual time will be longer. When used with the missile pistol, it can be destroyed in about 6 seconds, so there's no need to wait for it to cool down. When destroying it with other support weapons, the ammunition consumed is also about half. I'm not sure which patch this was implemented in, but I wanted to let you know that it's now possible to destroy them with the de-escalator. Regarding bug hole destruction, it's possible to destroy distant nests in guided mode. However, this isn't guaranteed. Shooting the outside of a bug hole with the missile pistol won't destroy it, so manual aiming is recommended. Also, Titan nests cannot be destroyed, so you'll need to deal with them using other methods. It can be destroyed with a Giga Grenade. That's all for Terminids. But I think you can see how useful the missile pistol is if you know when to use it. Next, let's look at Automatons. First, let's see when to use the missile pistol in guided mode. Its best use is when targeting gunships. Since it can shoot them down in 1 shot, it's very useful when using weapons that have difficulty targeting gunships. It can also destroy bunker turrets in 1 shot, so it's a good idea to use guided mode when targeting these. In other situations, it's more reliable to turn off guided mode, so next we'll discuss other enemies. There are 4 body parts that can take down a War Strider in 1 shot. First, the leg joints are the easiest to target. Next, when shooting from behind, hitting the vents on the pelvis will kill it in 1 shot. Finally, there are the eyes, but these are difficult to hit unless the enemy is stationary. It's best to avoid aiming for them. Furthermore, if you miss and hit the torso, it will take 4 shots to kill it. Basically, avoid aiming for the upper body. Considering ease of aiming during combat, you'll likely end up shooting the legs or pelvis. In this case, you can kill it into shots. Next, let's look at an example using both the missile pistol and the laser cannon. Shooting the pelvis with only a laser cannon takes about 11 seconds. Using a missile pistol in conjunction reduces the time to about 6 seconds. But it's still a bit of a tough result. Aiming for the legs rather than the pelvis yields better results. In an example using a missile pistol, it was possible to take down the enemy in about 3.4 seconds, so aiming for the legs is recommended. Also, a recent patch changed the leg joint armor from heavy to medium. Previously, it took about 5 seconds, but now it can be done in about 3.4 seconds. Using an autocannon or anti-material rifle required 5 shots, but being able to take them down in 3 shots is a welcome improvement. Now let's look at what happens when using a medium armor piercing weapon. Using an adjudicator, it's not possible to take them down with 1 magazine. Furthermore, since the enemy is actually moving, taking them down this way is quite difficult. Weapons that could potentially counter this with the primary weapon are those with high single-shot power, such as the Double Freedom. It's possible to take them down in 3 shots in semi-automatic mode. As you can see from these examples, aiming for the leg joints is highly effective. However, the leg joints are a bit difficult to aim at, so targeting the legs and pelvis with a missile pistol and the support weapon is a good option. Here are 5 examples of this. First, using an anti-material rifle. Shooting the legs requires 3 shots, and the pelvis requires 6 shots to kill, without using a missile pistol. It's impossible to kill without reloading. Results using only a support weapon can be seen in another video. Next is an example using an autocannon. Shooting the legs requires 3 shots, and the pelvis requires 5 shots to kill. When targeting the pelvis, it takes 1 fewer shot than with the anti-material rifle. As a precaution when shooting the legs, be sure to avoid the tips. In this case, it took 15 shots to kill. Unlike the Harvester, the War Strider seems to be designed so that it doesn't feel pain when tripping over ledges. Dealing with enemies using a spear gun becomes easier. Shooting the legs will kill them into shots. Shooting the pelvis requires 3 shots, but hitting it will stagger the enemy, allowing you to kill them without taking damage. When using a de-escalator, aim for the pelvis. Shooting the pelvis will kill them in about 5 shots, but shooting the legs will not kill them without reloading. In this example, 8 shots were needed. Finally, let's talk about the railgun. When using a railgun, aim for the legs. A 1.5 second charge will require a shot, but a 1.8 second charge will kill them in 1 shot. It's best to avoid aiming for the pelvis. Even a 2.8 second charge will kill them in 1 shot. Furthermore, killing them into shots requires a certain amount of charge time, making it a difficult result. Incidentally, even a fully charged shot to the leg joint won't kill them in 1 shot. You'll need at least 2 shots, but I want to let you know that a charge time of about 1.5 seconds is sufficient. Next, let's take a quick look at the Hulk. First, the parts of the body that can be killed with 1 missile pistol shot are the head and the ventilation holes on the back. If you hit the torso, you'll need 2 shots. Even if you hit the arms and torso, you can still kill him with 2 shots. But it's best to avoid aiming for the arms. If you hit both arms like this, you won't be able to kill him with 2 shots. Next, let's look at some examples of using support weapons in combination. In this case, hitting the Hulk's legs with the missile pistol is highly effective. After that, firing the laser cannon at the torso will kill him instantly. This means that if you use a weapon that can penetrate heavy armor, you can definitely kill him with 1 shot. Let's also look at an example of aiming for the torso. Using only the laser cannon takes more than 7 seconds. But when used in combination with the missile pistol, you can kill him in about 3.4 seconds. However, since you can defeat him in about a second, by aiming for his head, there's no need to bother shooting the Hulk's torso with a missile pistol. This method is useful as an emergency measure when he gets close. Hitting him with a missile pistol will make the Hulk stumble, creating an opening. For example, if you use an anti-material rifle, you can defeat him with 4 hits to his torso. The order doesn't matter either. Next, regarding the Factory Strider, there was a problem. Heavy armor-piercing weapons couldn't destroy its cannon. However, using the missile pistol solves this problem. As you can see, it takes just 2 shots to destroy the cannon. After that, destroying the Gatling gun with support weapons completes the disarming of the Factory Strider. However, relying solely on the missile pistol to defeat the Factory Strider isn't a good option. Even if you manage to hit its weak point, the eye, it will still take 3 shots. Normally, you only have 4 missile pistols, including the ones loaded. If you use the shots to destroy the cannon, you won't be able to defeat it without resupplying. Shooting the hatch also won't destroy it into shots, so you'll need to follow up. Next, let's see what happens when you shoot the head. If you destroy the head armor, you can then damage it with heavy armor piercing weapons. It takes 3 shots from a missile pistol to destroy the armor, so destroying the cannon will leave you short of ammo. While a supply pack solves the problem, it would take 6 shots to target the head or face with just a missile pistol. So, let's see how to actually defeat a Factory Strider. First, we'll show you how to destroy the head using throwable S in conjunction with the missile pistol. In the example using thermite, 1 missile pistol shot will destroy the armor. If you only use thermite, you'll need 2. Now, let's try shooting with an anti-material rifle. In the video on the right, we also fired missile pistols, but we're able to destroy it in 3 shots. On the other hand, using only an anti-material rifle requires 10 shots, so we recommend using it in conjunction with a missile pistol. An important point to note is that when destroying armor with a missile pistol, avoid aiming for weak points. Hitting this area will prevent you from destroying the armor. Anything below this point is fine. Next, let's look at an example using it in conjunction with a Giga grenade. Unfortunately, in this case, 1 missile pistol shot is not enough to destroy the armor. 2 shots are needed. Now let's try firing the Autocannon. In this case, it takes 16 shots to take down the Factory Strider. You have to reload, so it takes a long time to kill it. Ideally, you would use the Giga grenades to destroy the armor. After that, if you fire 1 missile pistol shot and then use the Autocannon, you can kill it into shots. This can be done in about 6 seconds. However, remember that these are countermeasures for when you can aim for the hatch. It's easier to kill it by attacking only one side of the hatch than by aiming for the head. It takes 8 shots with just the Autocannon, and 5 shots when used in conjunction with a missile pistol. When targeting the hatch, using it in conjunction with the missile pistol only makes a difference of 3 shots, so the effect isn't very significant. Let's also look at the results of testing with other support weapons. After destroying the armor, trying to kill a Factory Strider with only the laser cannon takes about 10 seconds. However, using it in conjunction with the missile pistol allows you to kill it in about 2 seconds. This is a good result. Using the de-escalator, if done correctly, you can kill it in about 6 shots. However, the results are inconsistent, and sometimes it required 9 shots. If you want to kill it without reloading, using it in conjunction with the missile pistol is more reliable. In this case, it was possible to kill it into shots. When using the railgun, even with a 1.2 second charge, it's possible to kill it in 1 shot. We also tested it in safe mode with the spear gun, and in those cases, 2 shots were needed. It's a welcome result that it can be killed this way, even with the spear gun. The missile pistol is also useful when using expendable anti-tank. While you can't kill an enemy into shots by aiming for the head, the missile pistol allows you to finish them off. Similarly, when used in combination with Commando, you can quickly eliminate Factory Striders. This feels quite satisfying, so please give it a try. Finally, let's briefly look at other situations where the missile pistol is useful. For tanks, you can destroy them in 1 shot by shooting the vents at the rear of the turret. Shooting the tank's hull from the rear will require the shots. It's worth noting that a recent patch changed the rear of the hull from medium armor to heavy armor. When shooting the hull, it's best to fire 1 missile pistol shot before using a support weapon. If you shoot with an anti-material rifle, it will take 4 shots to destroy it. Let's also check what happens when you shoot the tank's turret from the front. While it takes 2 shots to destroy a barrage or tank, it takes 4 shots against an anti-armored tank. This doesn't seem very practical in actual combat. However, it is useful when used in conjunction with the expendable anti-tank. After firing the expendable anti-tank at the tank's turret, you can quickly destroy it using the missile pistol. This can also be used to destroy cannons. When you had expendable anti-tank, or Quasar Cannon. There was a problem in that you couldn't destroy cannons quickly from the front. However, with the introduction of the missile pistol, that problem has been solved. Of course, you can destroy it in one shot by shooting the vents on the back. If you want to destroy a fabricator in one shot, aim for the vents. You can also destroy it by shooting the outer wall, but in that case it will take 3 shots. While it's not recommended to use it on the outer wall of a bulk fabricator, it was possible to destroy it with 2 Quasar Cannon shots in 1 missile pistol shot. Since the video is long, let's take a quick look at Illuminate. Harvesters can be taken down in one shot by aiming for the leg joints or the tips of the legs. The missile pistol has a slow projectile speed, so using guided mode will increase the hit rate against moving harvesters. However, it's not reliable as it doesn't always hit weak points. In this example, it took 4 shots, so it's generally better to deal with them using support weapons. The Stingray can shoot them down in 1 shot, so guided mode is useful. Against Veracitors, you can take them down into shots by aiming for the upper arms and destroying both arms. However, it's difficult to hit the desired part, so I don't think it's suitable to deal with them using only the missile pistol. In this example, I aimed for the torso, but it took 3 shots to take them down. In the case of a Gatekeeper, it takes 4 shots. If you're destroying both arms, it's better to use a primary weapon and the missile pistol together. Another way to defeat a Veracitor is to shoot its shield with a missile pistol, which will stagger it. Switching weapons and targeting the pilot during this stagger is a good strategy. You could also destroy the shield first and then shoot with the missile pistol, but it's difficult to hit unless you're close. If you want to kill it with 1 missile pistol shot, try dodging its tackle and aiming for the vents on its back. If you have a weapon that can penetrate medium armor, aiming for the legs is also an option. While you risk missing if you don't aim carefully, it's easier to hit when you're close. In particular, if you pursue with a heavy machine gun, you can kill it in about 8 shots, which is quite fast. Also, if you use an anti-material rifle, you can kill it into shots. When using a railgun, charging it for about 1.5 seconds allow me to kill it in 1 shot. For Gatekeepers, you can kill them with 1 missile pistol shot by shooting the tips of their legs. The tips of the legs have medium armor, but the shins have heavy armor. Because of this difference, remember that you can't kill an enemy in 1 shot by shooting its shins with a missile pistol. In this case, the armor will break, so the shins will be considered medium armor. Finally, regarding the warpship, since the missile pistol's bullets don't drop, it's easy to destroy it from a distance by aiming at the entrance. Shooting anywhere other than the entrance will require 8 shots, so avoid doing that. That's all for this video. To make the most of the missile pistol's performance, it's recommended to use it when fighting with Terminids or Automatons. As you've seen, its true potential is unleashed when used in conjunction with support weapons, so please try it out. Please subscribe to the channel and look forward to the next video. Thank you for watching.